What do you do when nothing is going your way? When nothing is going as planned? How do you respond to situations like that? And this is especially an interesting topic for me right now because I'm having one of those days where I'm being tested by life over and over again. I spent 3 hours this morning on a support call with Zoom to fix some issues that I was having with my meetings. And they were giving me wrong solution after wrong solution. And right now the issue is still not fixed. And I wanted to do something different with those 3 hours than spend all of that time on fixing technical issues. So I was already agitated, irritated, reactive. I needed to shift my plans for the day. And on top of that, there were people that didn't show up on calls. There were people that didn't communicate properly, people that didn't follow through on their agreements that they made with me. There were 6 people this morning that wanted to reschedule a call. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, I was getting angry, I was getting frustrated, and it reached a point where I wanted to scream. I wanted to destroy stuff. And that's when I decided to pick up the camera and record my daily YouTube video about this exact topic. Like, what do you do when life is testing you like this and when nothing is going as planned? Because if I look at the situation objectively, like, what am I crying about? This is part of life. Like, yes, there will be technical issues that you experience. Yes, you need to change your plans sometimes. Like, this just happens. I work with so many different people on a daily basis. I have been doing this for years. Why am I surprised that they show up like this? They have always showed up like this. This is part of how people show up. Why am I making a big deal out of this? So this is also the first step and first place that I want to get to when nothing is going my way, is I'm taking responsibility, and especially radical responsibility for my experience in life, for the frustration that I am creating and the anger that I am creating. Because I can't take responsibility for how people are showing up. Like, this is for, let's say, at least 95% outside of my control. Similar to Zoom. Like, I have no clue what is going on there. So this is also for a lot of percent outside of my control. Maybe there is a small percentage in my control that I'm unaware of, that hopefully support will show me that I can fix. But yeah, this is outside of my control. But what is in my control is how I'm responding to these situations. And the way that I've been responding today has not been resourceful. So this is where I want to get to, like, how am I creating this experience for myself? And yeah, like I said, first step is taking radical responsibility for my experience, and then I need to look at how am I creating this? How am I creating my own frustration? Because it is actually very simple, the thing that is happening. I am creating a reality in my mind of what reality should be like, and my current reality is not matching that ideal reality that I've created in my mind. So for example, and this shows up in so many little things, and of course the accumulation of this created the anger. So when Zoom was not working, Zoom should be working. This should be working, and it's not working. Frustration, because the ideal reality is not matching my current reality. And Zoom should be working. So now there is a conflict because I'm not accepting my current reality. Then I contact support. Support is giving me wrong solution after wrong solution after wrong solution. If I have the expectation, again, ideal reality, support should give me immediately the right solution. And they don't. Now I'm even more frustrated because my current reality is not matching the ideal reality that I have in my mind of how reality should be like. Similar to people. Like, and you can see the common denominator here. I have an expectation of how they should be showing up. They should communicate properly. They should show up at the standard. They should show up on time, whatever the case is. They should hold these sessions that we schedule with more reverence and not be rescheduling these things. Like, these are simply stories in my mind. And to make matters even worse, now that they are rescheduling, or now that they're not showing up, or whatever the case is, now they are disrespecting my time. So I create a layer of frustration on top of it because of the meaning that I create out of what is happening. Similar to Zoom. Like, now I'm behind. Now I'm this. I could be spending my time way more effectively and efficiently or productively, whatever the stories are. So on top of the frustration that I've created for myself by creating this expectation that is not matching my current reality, I'm also creating a meaning on top of it that is just unresourceful. That is completely not true. Like, how do I know that they're disrespecting my time? It is my own story that I'm creating. And this lie that I'm telling myself is creating even more frustration. So, and this is just to show you how I've been, even with all the small little situations, even when it comes to a simple response of Zoom, I'm creating the expectation that they should give me the right answer immediately. So this is frustration on top of frustration on top of frustration. So at the core of everything is accepting reality. And yes, it might still be uncomfortable. Yes, it might not be ideal. But how do I know that reality should be different? That it should be like this? How do I know? And why do I think that it should be like this? Because I also have a judgment as in this expectation is right and all the different things that are happening, this is wrong. But this is where I need to get back to everything is happening exactly like it's supposed to happen. And sometimes things are happening for a reason that I don't even know yet. And that's why, especially with people, the place that I always get to is everything is a revealing process in the way that they are showing up. So if someone is not managing their time properly or not managing their calendar properly, if they're not communicating properly, if they're not following through on their word, this has nothing to do with me. This has to do with the way that they are showing up in their life. And as a coach, so that's why I come back to this place, it is a revealing process. It is revealing their standards in life. And if their standards are low, that's exactly the reason why they're not performing at the level that they could perform at. That's exactly the reason why they're not creating what they want to create. Not as a judgment towards them, not as a judgment towards myself, but it's simply a revealing process. Now we have the data that we can work with to create even more powerfully in this world. So everything is a revealing process. It doesn't say anything about me. It doesn't say anything about them. It's simply their standard of the way that they're showing up in life. And now let's work with it. So if I start creating meanings on what the situations mean, as in, oh, I'm behind this, and oh, people are disrespecting my time, and oh, people this, of course I experience anger. Of course I experience frustration. But why am I making myself so important here? It's not about me. Why am I making a big deal out of everything? Life just is, and that's it. The moment you think life should be different, that's the moment you start to experience frustration. That's the moment your ideas in conflict with reality. And when you can't accept reality as it is, and I'm not saying that you don't want to change it, I'm not saying that the situation is ideal, but if you don't accept reality at its current moment as it is, and change moving forward from there, then you experience anger and frustration. That's a recipe for disaster in your life. And that's what I've been experiencing myself this morning and in the beginning of this afternoon, because I couldn't snap myself out of it. I thought my experience was so valid, it was so justified, which makes it even worse. So that's why it's good that I'm right now taking some time to process what is actually happening, because this is the place that I want to ground myself into. I'm not going to give the power over my experience in life away to Zoom, to some app on my laptop, or to some individual across the world that is not showing up on time. Like, why would I give my power away over my experience of life? By telling all of these stories. And I, of course, am also very graceful with myself, because, and this is my invitation to you as well when you experience something like that, because yes, sometimes you need to adjust fast. Even if it's with small situations, sometimes you're in a more reactive state. Sometimes you didn't sleep well and you're more agitated. This is part of it. So it's not about beating myself up like this, because then I come into the same problem where I shouldn't be acting like this. I shouldn't be feeling like this. Again, I create a reality that is not matching my current reality. Again, and I would experience frustration because then I'm doing something wrong. No, I just responded the way that I responded. Nothing more, nothing less. And now, once I completely accept and come to terms with reality as it is, I choose my steps forward again. I come from this intentional place, from this grounded place, and now I choose the way that I respond, the way that I create to reality as it is right now. That's it. It's not that I shouldn't be feeling these feelings. I shouldn't experience this. People shouldn't do things like that. When you catch yourself saying should, or whenever you feel frustration, you already know that you create a reality in your mind of what life should be like. And current reality is not matching this. I can guarantee you, I think almost 100% of the cases, this is the case, where an imaginary reality is not matching your current reality. So that's the key and the core for frustration. So whenever life is not going as planned, and it's not going your way, maybe, and this is just a more spiritual perspective, maybe it is going as planned. And this is where I experience, let's say, the most amount of peace whenever I connect to this perspective. What if my ego thinks it's not going as planned because things are not going as I imagined it to be, but what if it is going as planned? What if these things are exactly the things that you are supposed to experience? What if there's, from a more maybe philosophical, spiritual perspective, what if there is a plan for you that is different than your mind was thinking that you should experience? What if this is all part of the plan? And that's how you come to terms with reality as it is. That's when you stop trying to control your direction in life, and that's when you start to go with the flow of life and you participate in life. You stop trying to manage everything, because that's where the control freak shows up. Like, I'm trying to control everything and how people behave and what is happening and what is not happening. But sometimes you just have to also be flexible and go with the flow. It is all part of a bigger plan that you might not be able to see yet. And sometimes you don't even know the purpose of this bigger plan yet. So this is also the place that I ground myself in the strongest, because this is for me at least, the most powerful place that I could come from, because then I start to connect with faith. Then I start to connect with trust, that everything is happening for a reason, that I'm being guided as well. And these thoughts, they feel so supportive, that I'm not alone in this, even though I'm alone right now in my car recording this video. So yeah, hope that helps in any kind of way if you have a similar experience in life. And sometimes that's even with bigger experiences, with significant life events, because the examples that I gave, they're so simple, they're so insignificant, but this applies in exactly the same way to significant life events. And sometimes we can make insignificant life events so significant. And that's also yeah, let's not make it too deep, let's not make a big deal out of everything. And yeah, that's it.